This is 106D, and this is our part on research and planning. We use Google because it's the fastest search engine, and we used it to search for the things we needed to research. For example, we used IMDb to research the thriller genre. When looking at The Bourne Identity, we agreed that we wanted to do a crime thriller. We chose this genre because we liked the type of shots it used, for example, POV and tracking shots. These created the feeling of a crime thriller that we wanted. We used DVDs and YouTube to analyse and watch different opening title sequences. For example, the dark set in the opening scene of The Bourne Identity inspired the set and lighting of our phone call shot, where we used dim lighting and it was dark. This helped create an atmosphere of mystery. We also liked the way he dressed all in black, so we attempted to use this in our opening titles. We put all our research and planning onto our Quack blogs to help us see and analyse what we had done. The blogs helped us gather all of our planning and research into one place that it could help us when we filmed our opening titles. The recce helped us work out which locations were right and safe to use. We realised what locations were to the standard we wanted and what locations we had to change. For example, we realised that the pub we wanted to film in didn't fit the mood and genre, and we agreed not to include it. During our recce, we risk assessed each location and also put the equipment we were using.
The camera we used in our OTS was the Canon 600D. The camera was really nice to use because we could change the aperture, which allowed us to change the brightness of the shot. This was really good because we were filming indoors for some of our OTS where there was no natural light. The equipment we used to film our OTS was a tripod. This came in handy because we used it in almost all of our shots to keep the camera still. And even in filming the shaky POV shots, what I did was I propped it up against my chest and walked with it. The only equipment we used to record the sound was the microphone on the camera because we weren't given anything else and we don't own any sound equipment ourselves.
The way we recorded was in the order of how we want the OTS to be played, so when it came to editing, we already had a good idea of how we were going to lay the clips out. We put the soundtrack over our clips and synced most of our OTS to the soundtrack, which blended the two together. We created atmosphere by adding sound effects into our OTS as diegetic sound of a kettle or a radio playing in the background. We used the radio in the background because it's basically an interview of a man explaining a 16-year-old getting shot, and this is meant to make the audience start assuming that the man on the screen, aka our main character, has something to do with that, although he doesn't.